Well, hello from Arivaca. It is monsoon storming again, and I don't know if you can see this, but we have another swarm of our local killer bees, of course. They are not as dangerous in this moment while they are swarming, but they are dangerous in general, so be very careful if you see them out in the wild. They're very territorial, and they will sting you, and if one stings you, they all could. They have a pheromone or a chemical that comes out that basically signals for them all to go to that same person, that same spot, and try to sting you as many times as possible to get you away from the honey. So be very careful. I'm not sure what we're going to do about these yet. They'll probably leave here once it stops raining, but danger, basically. I'm going to do a quick little run through because we've gotten a lot of stuff going this week. I just got back from an interview in my local community for an impact coordinator. I'm very excited about. As you can see, we have some morning glory here and a morning glory here. This one's a different kind, obviously. It's a little different. We have a marigold and some borage, and sorry about the thunder here. We have a coral vine right in here between these peas. There's a lot of peas in these blocks because we're trying to use that to cover the fence, which would also create cool and shade. Fishbone cactuses, our lovely clover, which a lot of things like to eat. We have rescued this pineapple from our compost after we ate it. And in a couple of years, we might be able to get a pineapple off from it. You can see the back there, our dill's doing pretty good. That'll call in lots of beneficial insects. And our cabbage. Not really sure what this tree is. We took a clipping to see if we can get it rooted. We'll find that out sooner than later. And as you can see, this thing has a whole bunch more peas going through it. We're also going to put carrots and other things as well. Some strawberries, which we still are getting strawberries, although it's definitely slowed down in the heat. That thunder is so loud. Whew. I have autism and ADHD and CPTSD, so loud noises kind of trigger me sometimes and cause me quite a bit of anxiety, even though I love thunderstorms. So the first time we heard them this morning, it was quite holy crap. So 1 second, this corn is, of course, getting knocked over by this. Let's see if I can push this over here. There we go. Move the corn over. Hopefully it won't get too damaged here. Sorry about this, friends. So we got some corn, even though it got whipped on a little bit. We're going to get that put in the garden, and we got some soil for the transplants on the inside. You can see our beautiful Texas Rangers here. There are two kinds here. And those are turmeric. And then those are some sort of Stragnocopa or a daylily of some kind. I'm not quite sure which kind. Pretty cool though with the bees though. I mean, I know that they're kind of terrifying, but kind of cool how they do that, right? Well, we have been pretty productive, even though it's been really, really hot. It's hard to get a lot of stuff done, especially when the temperatures don't go below 100 until later in the afternoon. Or early in the morning, which is basically the times that you do things. But this little area has a whole bunch of cool stuff coming up. Melons. We have some pink penstemon here, which was flowering this morning. It's still got the flowers, but they're closed, I think, due to the rain. We got an agave in the back there. Just trying to get this place greened up a bit and to create a lot of biodiversity. We also have been working on weeding. Ooh, another strong one. I have to be very careful. Been weeding and trying to chop and drop a lot of this so we can encourage more organic matter in the soil. Oh, look at these. Got all kinds of cool asters here. In Vermont, there are a million kinds of asters. It's kind of crazy how many different kinds there are. They're usually a fall kind of plant. This is kind of cool, whatever this little guy is. But yeah, we've been slowly working on weeding this. Little by little. We're also going to be resetting the main vegetable garden here pretty soon. We're trying to wait for a lull in this heat because we don't want to create too many openings for the sun to blast and cook everything. I know I've been pulling out some of these weeds, just trying to create more of a ground cover so that the ambient temperature of the ground isn't as intense, as well as obviously feeding the soil and probably more likely to ants, because the ants seem to take a lot of the organic matter and move it around through the ecosystem. They're not my favorite, but they're a part of the ecosystem, so and they feed a lot of the lizards. I love that little watermelon. We're about to take off that cloche, so that way we can put that on something else. But yeah, these penstemons still haven't flowered yet, but they're doing all right. They probably, maybe it's a biennial, maybe it's next year for them, I'm not sure. More aster. Things are looking pretty good though. We have some monarch caterpillars on that bad chicken, although maybe in the rain I don't see them right now, so maybe the rain they kind of hide. Hopefully me weeding didn't make them bird food. Whoops, I'm sorry little guys. I hope I didn't hurt yous. And this pumpkin is not doing so hot no more. Some of those over 100-degree temperatures just really made a lot of things struggle here. But we have sunflowers popping up, and as you can see, I've been trying to chop and drop some of these grasses to try to bump up the organic matter. Here's another kind of Asclepia, which is in the milkweed family, I believe. Let's see if I can focus that in a little bit. There we go. And obviously I love the yarrow, or the verbena rather, my bad. Grape is doing great, as well as the lacana lilies. We're hoping to get some seeds off these. Most of these came from seeds. So we started these seeds early in the spring. We like this grass, otherwise I would have pulled this one too. I'm not sure what this is. I'm trying to figure out the different native types of grasses here, so that way we can be sure to try to keep the native ones and remove the ones that probably got brought in either from the horses or the cows. You see there's a bunch of morning glories here, and a bunch of morning glories over here crawling up and over everything. Looks like we might have another borage here too, or maybe a comfrey. I'm pretty sure that's borage though. But morning glories. She's getting feisty. And our zinnias just keep going and going and going. We have a bunch of starts of these going again, so we're gonna try to get these, I'm thinking along this pathway over here. We could add a little bit more organic matter, and they just gotta get a little bit bigger, and then we gotta harden them off. It's just a little too intense right now to plant things in the ground until it starts to cool off, until the days are a little cooler than, 95. Except for things like this, like the okra. They love the heat. Compost is doing great. That tomato there, we've already gotten a couple tomatoes off it. But basically we're just using that as our compost space. And you can see that I started weeding over here. We got another squash of some kind. It could be a pumpkin. It could be a couple of things potentially. Eggplant's doing good. That's got some eggplants on it. The gazanias are kind of winding down. I don't know if maybe I needed to deadhead them more, or if maybe the heat's just slowing them down as well. But they're beautiful. We love them. My Caracara orange is doing excellent. She's finally greened back up a little bit. We lessened the water and I added a little bit more fertilizer to her. The Russian sage is doing pretty good there as well. I think I might need to chop that a little bit and try to stimulate another section of growth. And this comfrey is so dramatic. It is so dramatic. But the onions in there and the sedums are all doing pretty good. They haven't overtaken like they have over to the other fig, but they're there. They're doing their thing. I'm gonna keep getting these cute little random flowers that are popping up. I'm not 100% sure what this is. It's definitely in the legume family. It's quite cute though. Not this one, that one. That one we're just gonna chop and drop. Beautiful. This garden is very soon going to be reset, but again, we just want to wait until the daytime temperatures have come down a little bit. And then we're going to basically cut out everything except for the peppers, the tomatoes, the eggplants, and probably the butternut squash. I don't know. And obviously we're going to leave the clover, although we may trim it down. But the pumpkins are coming out, and we're just going to chop and drop all of this right back down into the ground and use for the fall garden season, which is kind of exciting. This spring, we really didn't have the right amount of time to prepare, because we were still trying to get a space to be comfortable in, and we were very unfamiliar with the seasonal times to start seeds, and we're still learning quite a bit about desert gardening, for sure, but it is a learning curve, and we're plant people, so we'll do what we got to do. I also noticed that our Mexican fan palm here is coming back from this side. And we have some random seedlings popped out through here as well as a bunch of really cute watermelons, which are funky shaped. Each of these ones, for some reason, are kind of funky shaped. Ooh, and there's a little white flower here, which I am unfamiliar with. It almost looks like something in the nightshade family, but I'm not sure. And we have a gorgeous plumbago, which I got from my current new workplace, Native Gardens in Green Valley. If you guys are looking for high quality plants at a reasonable price, do check them out if you're in Southern Arizona. Beautiful place to work, great family, great place to work so far. I'm very excited. Oh, look at that watermelon. I think she's basically ready. And my Vitex, I really got to get in here and pull out some of these. Oh, they're so prickly. Some of these are just so mean and prickly. But if you can see right there, the Vitex is kind of struggling to catch a head here. It will grow up tall here and fill in this space. I think it gets like 15 or so feet. Ooh, sorry, like I said, I get a little jumpy. 15 or so feet tall, maybe a little taller. And then I think with the plumbago, we're gonna remove all of this stuff. This will get moved to a different space. This whole area is gonna become garden and hedge and the swale, obviously. So we'll have the Vitex in the center there. That'll be the taller species that's right here in the middle. It'll help create some shade because that's where the sun sets on this side. It'll help create a little bit of shade for the garden behind me. And then the plumbago, I think it gets 4 or 5 feet tall. I mean, then we can keep it a little shorter, but it'll also spread out a little bit. So sorry, the bugs are a bit bad today too. But it'll also spread out a bit, so it should create a beautiful set of flowers. The Vitex will bloom and the plumbago will bloom, I think, roughly at the same time, and for quite a while. And then we have this lovely, which I want to say is a Palo Verde, but I'm not really sure. We planted so many different kinds of seeds. It's really difficult to tell what this plant is. And because I'm so new to it, I don't want to be like, this is for sure that. It is spiky and it does have a green base for its stem, but the top part is here is red. It's got a compound leaf that's long, elongated, with beautiful leaves. Oh, and the little Mexican fan palm is doing great too. So we got 2 of those coming up. That'll make a nice kind of focal point for the Vitex, which will be coming up. Got some more melons. I believe these are the Tuscan melons. And the peach. The peach is just going, yeah, I'm doing it. And our comfrey is blooming. I don't know if you can quite see from here. Let's get a little closer. And our trailing rosemary, she was a little bit covered in weeds, so we had to weed a bit to get her back to a little bit healthier. But we're working on it, as you can see, little by little, just kind of meandering through stuff. We got a little bit of a sweet potato slip here that's trying to create the ground cover for this fig. It seems to be stopped mostly raining, but I'll bring you over here to the pond, finish off this little vlog for us today. Again, it was a beautiful day. Went out, did a job interview for my community, which I'm excited about. And obviously we have quite a bit of water left. The top pond is very full and very covered in green. And Tyler has been bringing down little bits of the duckweed. As you can see, it's kind of hitting along all the edges and a little bits in the center there. But it's looking great. The storm, it's not past because it said it's supposed to be going on potentially for the next few hours, but the bulk of the rain seems to have stopped at the moment. We didn't seem to get too much flow, but every little bit of moisture is very welcome. It cooled off the air, just having the clouds and the moisture coming through. So, and I love these little plants. This one is very white compared to a lot of the other ones. A lot of the other ones kind of have more of a, goodness gracious, I'm sorry, these bugs are vicious right now. This one's more white. There's a few, you can't quite tell them over there, but they have a lot more pink in them. You can't really see from here. We're not gonna worry about that for right now. Let's get back to doing this here. You know, the bugs, my lord, today. In our Indian fig here, this beautiful Opuntia. We took off the fruits because the ants just decided they wanted them more, unfortunately. We didn't get the opportunity this time. We'll have to figure out how we can prevent that in the future. I mean, we're definitely willing to share a little with wildlife. That's a very big part of permaculture and what we're about here. We'll be planting species that'll be very specific to wildlife. That won't be for human consumption, or at least not for us, generally speaking. But right now, we're just trying to get things in the ground and alive and get them through this intense summer, because the fall time is going to obviously be, goodness gracious bugs, it's going to be a lot better for us. Our sunflowers that came from, these are the seeds from the ones we grew earlier in the spring. They're coming up, and this is another vine, which we're not 100% sure what it is. I mean, we planted so many seeds, it's so difficult to tell what one it is that came up. These are definitely more Tuscan melons, because I planted them in place of the ones that got ripped out from that last storm here. And you can see we have a Chilean jasmine here. I can't remember the local name for it. It is a native. It's a smaller shrub. I believe the scientific name is Mandevilla brachysiphen or something of that nature. Sorry, I'm not meaning to be so jumpy, but these bugs are biting. My goodness. And then Tyler's little cactus nursery spot here. I'm not sure what that is. I think that's a pepper of some kind, but it is not happy. I'm gonna give you a little gander of the bee nest on this side. Apparently they're not as aggressive when they're doing this because they don't have honey and stuff to support. I really don't like them jumping out here. If they were in a different location, I might consider killing them, even though I really don't like killing bees, just because these are killer bees, and we already have like 4 or 5 hives around the property that are already making it difficult for us to get things done and to get things cleaned and to get things removed from the property. But because it's right here over top of food and the catio, I'm not gonna spray these. But you can see our Tuscan melons here are looking really good, and they're gonna hopefully take over this whole front section. And with the sun setting over here, this will create a lot of shade for us right here and for the cat, and create a cooling effect in this back area, which this all is going to get cleaned up. This trailer is going as soon as we can get the bees situated out of it, and we're going to create an outdoor kitchen and a patio over here. This is the morning side, so we'll get morning light on this side. We're going to have very similar garden beds on either side of the A-frame that'll help shade, as well as eventually solar panels on the top. But all of this needs to get revamped and situated. Our Ladybank's rose here is looking really good, although I have to secure it again. Her ground cover's coming in. We've got some Hesperola, Parviflora here, false yucca. We got some pepper seeds coming in, some dill on the corner there. Just a lot of really cool things popping up in the garden. And our seedlings that we have been focusing on, and our cuttings and our figs. You can see that the heat this week has really done some damage to some of our figs here. But most of the stuff here is looking pretty darn good. And our oleander and our other pineapple, and the Mexican fan palms and the onions, everything's looking pretty darn good, to be honest. I'm impressed. It's been one of those summers where it's been a challenge between the wildlife getting stuff and just trying to keep things going. We got a whole bunch of little guys here. Not 100% sure what these are. I'm hoping these are the Texas ebony, or we have so many seeds going. I'm really not sure what this one is. But look at this, mulberry is going crazy. We got to pull out this sorghum or whatever this is. I'm not really sure what this is. I think it's sorghum, but again, I'm not super familiar with a lot of the plants here. We are just learning, and we are really just trying to use a lot of this as biomass. We're not trying to kill it. We're just trying to cut and chop and drop. So every little bit of biomass helps. And yeah, a lot of stuff going on. But at the same time, with the heat, it's very difficult to get everything that we're trying to get accomplished done, especially since we only have a couple hours in the morning and a couple hours at night before things get too hot. Butternut squash is still producing pretty heavily. That'll probably stay, as well as all the peppers. Oh, and it looks like we have a ladybug. Lovely. Eat those aphids, my little darling. Still getting tons of tomatoes, and we have another cucurbita of some kind. Our zucchinis are starting to slow down, but we did pull off a couple huge ones recently, but you can tell that they got some powdery mildew, probably because we've been watering them both morning and night. And if we leave them spraying on the leaves at nighttime, that's probably what caused that. It's also, you know, towards the end of the season, they're a little stressed. So probably about time to cut these out and turn them into chop and drops. You can see that the morning glories are still all over this. And we did have a good pepper, but unfortunately something started eating it first. So we pulled it off. We're hoping that it'll reseed itself next year. Oh, what a day. Have another Tuscan melon, I believe there. That tomato is still obviously going, but it is a lot sadder than it was. Oh, and you can see the dragon fruit behind that we have shaded under this mesquite. We're hoping this mesquite will act as a nurse plant. It's not in the ground just yet, but we may put it in the ground, although that's a really thin branch there. That makes me a little nervous. We're gonna have to look at that again. And we have to weed this whole area. And another coral vine right here, and another big boy tomato. So, and I believe that little guy is a vitex, and there's a couple more throughout this, but we have to weed this. But again, we're trying not to weed until the heat of the summer kind of has passed, or at least most of it, so we're not burning everything through this. As you can tell, there is no box here, so we have room to walk through here. So soon we'll be cutting some of these branches. Again, once it cools off a little, the shade is invaluable at this moment. Any bit of shade we can get to prevent heat from blasting the sides of this, the better. As you can see, it's in rough shape. We're gonna lime wash it once it starts cooling off again and it's not constantly raining. And then this, we're gonna put a whole bunch of cattle panels, and we're gonna create arches, and we're gonna create a whole walk path all the way through here that will connect to our shade structure back here in our patio. And we'll allow the coral vine, which will be right here coming up. This needs to be fixed a little bit, and the shade cloth here is gonna be changed for the shade cloth that's up there. There's another one on the other side that we're gonna grab, and this green shade cloth will get adjusted and moved as well. We also obviously have to connect the catio from here at the top. It's gonna go up and over here. Bless you, Ty. And it's gonna get connected up to top there, where there'll be a cat door for little man, so he can go in and out as he needs and wants. Look at this gorgeous sun baby rose. It is just really happy in this spot, as well as these purple heart, which is in the Triscandia family, and our wow, it has been one of those days. Our boysenberry there, and citronella, my goodness. And then our Thai basil, which we've used quite a bit in food. Like I said, everything out here is a mess. We're trying to get our potting station all set up. We still have a trifolia orange or two going on in here, and there might be a grapefruit or two, although they're looking pretty rough, so maybe not. And some of our amendments that we like to use are fish fertilizer, molasses, which is alive, and then our Super Thrives. Those we add into water buckets and add to certain plants as a feeding schedule. But yeah, not too much going on, just trying to make it day by day. Got some job interviews going through, got some prospective means of employment, aside from the one that I already currently have, and Tyler does as well. He hasn't gotten his interviews yet, but we're working on that part. And we're working on finishing cleaning up this front section here. And it will, once this Subaru's out of the way, the garden that's next to the shade cloth and the catio here will get extended out a little bit beyond where probably about midway of the Polaris back there next to the truck. And between the wheelbarrow here, it'll come all the way out here around, all the way around this little bump here. You can see this little rock hole we got here. That's got a baby desert willow, which has yet to come up just yet, but that will be one of the main shade, especially during the summertime, to shade the front of this. We'll just do a whole bunch of plants basically, especially on this side, because this is the west side, to prevent the sun from blasting the A-frame and helping us keep the space cooler. And then there will be basically a path that goes to the door here, and then the path that goes out and around to the back on either side, and then everywhere around it is going to be covered and vegetation that we'll take care of to cool and benefit both wildlife and us. So we're really excited. This little mesquite's cute, but it's that shade cloth that's gonna get brought over there. This whole setup's gonna get taken down and we'll readjust this. This big camper may or may not get moved yet, not 100% sure. And this camper's gotta go. These boxes will be the next ones that get removed so we can get onto this side and start lime washing this side. Oh, and if you see, you can kind of see our seed starts that need to get transplanted pretty soon here. We got cucumbers and lots of brassicas and all kinds of cool stuff. All right, y'all. It didn't seem to pour. The thunder's still going on a little here and there. If it does pour, I'll probably make another video just to see if there's flow going on, because I like to create some videos catching the water so we can really see how it goes on the property, where it goes. I mean, you can see right here that it's creating a lovely little ravine, little wash, little scar on the land pulling our soil. We're trying to find those spots so we can create check dams and protect our soil and keep the water on the property as long as possible so it's not flooding off the property and flooding other people. Oh yeah, and our zinnias over here, and this pretty guy, which is flowering. Ain't she pretty? Got a yellow zinnia there and a pink zinnia here. And there's marigolds in there, but they may not have made it. Things have been pretty rough. And we have tons of seeds through here, but again, we have to weed. The weeds have been going crazy. It's been very difficult to upkeep with them, especially with working and with the heat. And then we have our wildlife water, which needs to be rinsed. I filled this morning, but it's already covered in all kinds of dust and shit that just blew through. Hopefully y'all are getting some rain. We all need the moisture, and we're wishing the best for y'all. And much love from Arivaca, y'all. Have a great night.